I'm going on just me first so that way I can introduce this amazing person to the screen. Hello, 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 all. It is your boy, Donley Divine. I am here with another amazing guest, but first, you already know, I gotta hit my intro. So, with that, welcome to Divine Time, where purpose meets presence and real conversations lead to real transformation. I'm your host, Donley Divine. Here we speak truth, we heal openly, and we grow intentionally. Every episode is rooted in love, guided by spirit, and created to uplift your mind, your heart, and your soul. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a safe space for the awakened, the healing, and the seekers of truth. So whether you're here to be inspired, challenged, or seen, you've arrived right on time, Divine Time. Now with it, let's tap in. Today, we're joined by Sara Ann Rosen, a powerful voice in helping people break free from old patterns, reconnect with their self-worth, and call in the kind of love that truly aligns. She's all about guiding others to release what no longer serves them and step into relationships that reflect who they really are. So today, let's welcome Sara Ann Rosen to the show. Now, with it, of course, I forgot to do one very, very small thing, so I'm gonna hit that real quick, all right? Gotta do it. Hello, Sara, how you doing?
Hi, Donley. I am doing real well and so excited to be here. Thank you. How are you?
Respect. I am divine. Every day is a magnificent day. It's another beautiful day, and I mean, I say all the time, I could complain, but what will it solve? Not a damn thing. So with
Yep.
it, you reached out, and I want to hear your story of what you have gone through in life and how it led you to do what it is that you do now.
Well, thank you. Well, I think the journey from where I started to where I am today really took off 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay.
Yep.
What happened
I
10
was,
years ago?
well, I was married and I had moved across the country for a job. At that time, I was an immigration lawyer.
Oh,
And and after we moved, um, me and my spouse, we were just not connecting like we had. I think we were married for 4 years-ish, 3 or 4 years at that point. And there was one moment where I reached out with I'm not sure, what happened. Like
yes.
I want clarification because whatever was said or whatever the event was, it's like it felt a little scary and unsettling to me, and I just wanted the reassurance and the understanding. And and this was the first time that I connected with my gut intuition, which told me his response of saying, "Well, why are you upset? Because clearly, this is what I meant. My intention was this. So what's the problem?
Yes.
Don't blame me for how you took it." And I thought, oh, my gut is telling me this is not going to end well. And that was really the first time I leaned into that visceral intuition, because that's not how I was raised. I was raised by bookworms who basically raised themselves.
Okay.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and
Hey.
and my parents didn't have the most stable childhoods. They were in and out of schools into their 40s or 50s. So they did, end up with college degree or an advanced degree, but it just, start, stop, because they didn't really have role models.
Yes.
And they didn't do feelings. They did facts. They did trivia. They did opinions and judgments all over the place. So, and I connected with some of your other episodes where you said one of the most valuable lessons you learned was, sure, listen to what people say, but also observe what they do.
Actions. Yes.
Mhm. And I think that is so profound, because it is a nonverbal form of communication that communicates directly to our energetic center. And that's what I was cut off from for such a long time. Until that moment, it's like, wait, I'm learning a new language here. And yeah, that marriage eventually ended. And not before trying counseling, which was another revelation when that didn't work, because counseling isn't perfect. And if both people aren't really transparent, then the therapist is not a mind reader or a clairvoyant. And so they can't necessarily tell, oh, there's unprocessed trauma somewhere in there that we're not addressing. And that's going to sabotage this in the end, which is basically what happened. So I take responsibility for, I was all for trying therapy, and I researched it. My intent was very, very good, but I chose the wrong kind, because you just can't talk to trauma.
Yeah.
And if the other person is really not ready to really go there, then that's not the right approach, and that could cause harm.
Yes, it can. It truly can.
Yeah. So, like you said, sometimes we are ignorant, and we learn. It's a lesson, and I take that as a lesson and a blessing at the same time. Because I could tell that you had a parent who was a psychologist.
Yep. Yep. She's actually my co-host on the show. She comes up every Sunday. We have quite a few episodes together, but this is your time. I'm gonna allow you to speak your story. Once you're done with your story, I'm gonna come in with my questions and everything, and then we'll flow into a conversation. All right, that's how I like to do it. This is your story. This is your time. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, so that was around the time I was burning out in my work, because lawyers are not generally a very happy, healthy bunch. So I went in all, idealistic. I'm gonna defend the Constitution, and and maybe I did. And then it just, a little bit of burnout. So I was taking a break, and I just started reading up on psychology, because my father was a psychologist. So when I heard some of your episodes, it's like, you sound familiar. And I just started reading different kinds of psychology books, and then I went back and read more of like the couples therapy approaches, just like, what happened? And being an empiricist, I learned that the success rates kind of dwindle the farther out from the end of therapy you go. So at 1 year, the success rates are great. At 4 years, the follow-up's not so great. And I was wondering what happened. And they found that, surprise, the biggest predictor of success is earlier intervention, but I was close to.
Oh no, what happened? Where'd she go? No. I'm not sure what happened.
But,
you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened. You just fell off.
It said login was canceled.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. All right. The last thing that I heard was you started looking into different psychology books, and then.
Oh yeah, and then I looked deeper. I researched the success rates, or how they measured that, and so short-term success rates from therapy, great. Longer term, like 4 years out, not so great. The improvements kind of drop off for a lot of people. And then I looked at, well, does it matter, what point in the relationship do you actually start seeking help? And yeah, it matters a lot. So the earlier intervention, then the longer term outcomes are, better.
Yes.
And the average couple waits about 6 years, so we were close to that. Not quite, but close. It's like, so it's basically like trying to do cosmetic surgery without enough anesthesia. It's we take on it. And so I was also enrolled in a graduate program at that point that was just like a chance opportunity. Where I lived, it wasn't going to cost me anything. I thought, why not? Let me try this. I don't even know if I'll graduate. Well, let me just see how it works. And so I was in this master's degree for counseling, and I was learning all of this. And I thought, how can we provide support and education for people at the start of a relationship cycle as opposed to closer to the end? And that is how I pivoted to coaching.
Okay. Is that the end? Because if that's the end, we can flow.
Well, it doesn't have to, but I guess.
Oh no! I'm saying is okay. So with it, before your marriage, what were previous relationships like for you?
Well, they had one thing in common, which, and maybe I attribute this to being raised in a very big city in a very diverse neighborhood.
East 52nd and Flatbush. Just throwing it out there. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I was Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene.
Okay.
So my relationships, the constant theme was people from different backgrounds. And the longest relationships, always someone who was born and raised in a different country. And it was never the same one, and they had different families, different backgrounds. But also, when I was doing the degree in counseling, I realized I do have a pattern and a type. It's just below the surface. And then this is my foster cat who might raise a fuss if I close the door. So she comes in to join me. The pattern that I realized that was hiding below the surface, that was similar for my mother and her mother before her, was getting into committed relationships with men who not only had different backgrounds,
yes,
but had major rifts with their parents. And in fact, my second longest relationship partner even articulated what that was like. He described it as feeling like an orphan whose parents happened to be alive. And I think that my father would describe something similar. My half-sister's father, I'm from the second marriage, both sons of immigrants, totally different backgrounds, but both pretty much estranged from their parents. My mother's father, same deal. I thought, wow. So on the surface, it looked like I'm just eccentric and independent and a free thinker and, modern and hip, but that's not exactly how it happened. It was from early trauma, and that wasn't healed and couldn't repair the relationship with their family of origin.
So one thing, I'm gotten pretty well versed with trauma. I actually had just talked about something yesterday on a random recording that I decided to do. I didn't have my mind completely together because I had got some news that I didn't want to receive, but I had to. I had to. My family kind of sees me as the one to help them through tough times, and I mean, the news that they dropped on me was pretty tough as well. So I wasn't able to handle it, plus with everything else that was happening in my life at the time. But I learned that some things, and it's interesting, our genes can pass on traits through generations. And exactly how you were just speaking about it, that, you know what, you happen to fall into a line of, you had a particular type of, I don't want to say individual, but it seems like there were certain traits that drew you towards individuals. And it seems like it was subconscious. It wasn't something that you noticed right then and there. And I feel like that was based off of trauma that you had went through in the past.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Or even secondhand trauma from, you know, my father not being able to stand being around his mom.
So from where you are right now and the knowledge that you have, what would you say was the underlining situation, the underlining, what do you think was the I've got like two questions trying to come through at one time. First one is going to be, what affected you as a child that made it to where, as you grew up, you sought out certain individuals?
Yes. I think what really affected me was my parents, I think, survival instincts. My father semi-raised himself, and he tried to, you know, refurbish that or reframe that as, I'm just self-sufficient, I'm a free thinker. And I mean, he was very progressive. He would have been a great parent consultant.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
very kind with your words.
As I say, not as I do. So if he wasn't emotionally impacted by the situation, he was extremely insightful. And so I really did have, like, I had the freedom to have my own views and to challenge my parents on an intellectual level, to talk back. If I didn't agree, we would debate, and I wasn't punished for that. But also at the cost of actually connecting emotionally and, say, providing reassurance, safety, validation on the, I get what you're going through or how you feel. It was basically, we have to appeal to reason, so give me a good argument. And that, I realized, is what why I didn't really trust anything I was feeling in relationships until it really hit me just that one time 10 years ago for some reason. It's like, I now see the future and it's not good. I just have this feeling. I know where this is going.
Would you say that was like women's intuition? Or would you say, because every, I believe, 7 years, you pretty much have a new body. Your cells have regenerated and everything, so you're in a whole new body. Would you say that is what it is? In adding the life lessons that you have learned throughout your life up to that point?
You know, I hadn't thought of that, but that could be. That could be, because I really wasn't thinking in terms of, let me, you know, connect to my emotions today. Although, actually, I think that this is connected to what you're saying. I had started going to the gym, so I was getting more connected with my body in general. And so I think there was like a little back door opening to the emotions just through movement and through feeling like I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more coordinated.
That kind of sounds like you were establishing boundaries in the midst of finding love for yourself wholeheartedly again.
Yeah.
Because
Yep. And I didn't even think of it that way. I didn't know.
listening to what you had just said about how your father was like, okay, come at me in a logical sense. I know some individuals who are lawyers and that's their mindset. I want to look at the facts. Okay, what are the facts? So let's make a decision based off the facts, because it doesn't matter how you feel, what is true. When, in all honesty, the way that somebody feels is truth as well.
Completely.
But you as a child was kind of told that your truth doesn't matter. The truth that matters is what is relevant in the world, what everybody can see, because people cannot feel what you feel. Teaching you to kind of shut that inside. And then at some point, just like with everything, it'll bottle up so much to a point that it comes out. And I think that with you going and working out, that right there encompasses the mind, body, and soul. So with that trilogy coming together and the synergies moving, now you have no choice but to allow those emotions from all those years to come out, which with your logical mindset, I can only imagine the things that went through your head that you probably didn't register, but yet your mind was triggered on it, allowing small things to shoot out, which most likely had it to where you were like, you know what, this is what I need. And you probably didn't even know where that came from, but your mind knew where it came from, because ultimately the heart is the strongest thing that we have.
So elegantly put. And I know I do still rely on how I learned to navigate the world, which is through empirical reasoning and research and all that. But absolutely, I am now trying to shift 180 from where I started, based on scientific evidence from neuroscience over 30 years ago, where they said, wow, emotions are the scaffolding on which our thoughts are built, because the nervous system is taking in millions of pieces of data from all the senses, sound, sight, smell, all that. And it's filtering it and it's processing it and it's trying to figure out, okay, what's relevant, what's important, what's not. And then our conscious brain is dealing with maybe 40 or 50 pieces of data at a second. And then as that's filtered quicker through the nervous system, then it sends signals that like, this feels good, or this feels threatening, or this feels gross, or whatever it is. And so that gives us the emotional signal that then flavors, I guess you could say, our thought about it, whatever the data is.
Okay.
And they did an experiment, I think it was Antonio Damasio, 30-something years ago, where someone had brain damage and it affected a part of his brain where he couldn't connect to emotions anymore. And that meant he couldn't make decisions because nothing mattered.
So that makes me wonder when it comes down to sociopaths. Because I'm like, with them, they lack the emotion. But yet, if you think about that show, is it Dexter? Or is it Dexter or Dexter? I forgot.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I think it's Dexter.
Okay. So with him, he learned how to pretty much, I wouldn't say fake it till you make it, but fake the funk. So with it, he watched everybody else and learned how to act in certain situations, even though he did not physically feel that way, which made it very difficult for them to find out that he was the mass unaliver. And is it the hippocampus that has that? It's been a while since I was going through the mind. What part of the brain is it that deals with the emotions? Because I know the amygdala deals with a lot of memories based off of the senses, usually sights or smells.
Yep. And that's also the part of the fear complex. And the hippocampus is kind of a depot, I guess, on the path, or the train route, where it consolidates kind of those impressions and images with the conscious thought and narratives.
Okay. thinking about it, like I know right now a lot of people are talking about this giant supercomputer that they're building in Tennessee and everything. And looking at it, it's interesting how for so long humans have been trying to create life. And with them going with this supercomputer, we are supercomputers. We're firing off neurons at such a high speed and have so much going on, but the only thing that limits us to where we think we're not as smart or as powerful as these supercomputers is the fact that we have the free will to choose what we're going to focus on rather than being programmed on this is what we need to focus on. Otherwise, we'll be able to accomplish all that. So I see them working on the supercomputers as in trying to create life. But rolling back into you, can you share the experience or event that really shifted your perspective that made you want to get into the field that you are in now when it comes down to coaching? Because I know you spoke a little bit about the divorce, and then going through the counseling, pretty much getting gaslit from your husband. But something's telling me that there was more. Something's telling me that there was something more that really made you buckle down and focus on coaching and helping individuals in relationships.
Well, I think it's because of what I learned and how I realized how when I got into relationships, I thought I had, some people have a checklist of how they want a relationship to make them appear to others. And I always had kind of a checklist of we have to have very similar values, social justice oriented. They have to be comfortable with and affirming of like my family that is multicultural and different sexual and gender identities in the extended family, all of that. And so I was doing well checking for that. And I completely left out other elements of compatibility, such as conflict style, emotional regulation, and also I think different flavors of emotional needs, like what makes deposits in our love bank accounts and what makes withdrawals.
Emotional bank, yes, the love bank.
Yep, because you can have so many connections, but if that's not going well, and like the safety deposits, like the safety bank account, things that make you feel unsafe, if you don't have that lined up, and that I didn't know how to look for, because in my family, people didn't say I love you. They would appreciate or compliment your thought process or your point of view, or and so being safe, that they would also in my household, particularly my father, because hurt people. If he was feeling triggered, then he would basically project as if he were still trying to win the fight against his mom when he was little. So then you'd become the enemy, but you're just a 10-year-old in the room who didn't realize.
And that's the emotional regulation right there, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain to me a little bit of the conflict styles? Like how many are there? What types are there?
Sure. For that, I went to the research by Dr. John Gottman, who is the famed relationship scientist in the U.S.
You said Dr. John Gottman?
Yes. And he's researched about 5 different conflict styles, and 3 of them seem not to significantly hurt the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And two of them do. So one is basically the kind of avoidant. If both partners are like, let's just focus on common ground, let's just focus on moving forward, let's not get into the weeds of our feelings or of our anger or concerns. Let's not dwell on it. If they're both on the same page, that actually doesn't seem to hurt the relationship. And then there's the validating couple who try to be very careful and respectful in their language, not to step on toes, but they do cover, like, well, when you were late, I was worried and I felt this and I was concerned, and it would really help me if. So they really try, to avoid any blame, and they try to keep the problem. It's not about either of the people.
And that's avoiding you statements and things like that, correct?
Yeah, so not pointing fingers, not keeping score. And then there is the volatile couple who they can get into it, but with lightheartedness. So they're the ones that can inject a little teasing and banter, as well as getting a little heated, but it never crosses a line into hostility. So for those people, there are people who just even getting emphatic or energetic or impassioned is like, but
yeah, I'm very passionate when I speak. And I mean, people tell me all the time, like even when I'm at work, they're like, "Yo, you're talking real loud right now." I'm like, I'm sorry. Is this better? But I mean, when I get excited about something or I'm passionate about what it is I'm saying, people often say that I get louder. My wife has told me, she's like, "You've got big energy, like whether that's positive energy or negative energy." And I was like, well, I tried to avoid the negative energy. She's like, but even like you don't have to say anything, everybody can feel it when you're not feeling it. I was like, oh. And that's one thing that for me sucks being an empath. I can change the energy in a room, I can feel the energies. There's places I cannot go because I will be an outcast because I will make it to where it does not affect me. And when it does not affect me, it everybody else in the room can feel it. And what I mean by that is, if I were to walk into a room and everybody's like kind of like, or people are upset, I'm like, I'm not going to be upset, bump that. I'm going to change the energy of the room by focusing on me being, only thing I can control is myself. And if I'm saying I'm going to have a good time, I'm going to have a good time. If I say I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be happy. So with me being happy, those who are still stuck on whatever they're stuck on, now I'm seen as like the bad person because I'm making them uncomfortable due to the fact that they want to stay in that triggered place that they're in.
Yes,
and I'm just
you
like,
just defined the downward spiral of drama.
I don't do drama. Like I just told my realtor, I was like, I don't do drama. I was like, I remove myself. I know how I can get, and I refuse to put myself in that situation. But when it comes down to it, I know earlier you mentioned about when it came down to the body language. And one thing I wanted to say there was nobody really teaches us the art of body language when we are younger or growing up. That's something that we have to learn as an adult. And one thing that I'm doing with my kids is teaching them what body language is, because I don't want them to be out in the world unprepared how I was. So about when was it, looking back on your situation before you started going to the marriage counseling, which it has its ups and its downs, because sometimes I feel as if the counselor takes sides. And I mean, whether it's involuntarily or not, sometimes they just want to be an instigator. That's the way I'm going to say it. Sometimes it's like they want to be an instigator to really find out, okay, if someone is, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but on a tactical side in my head, I feel like they're trying to see, okay, is this really how it went down, or is this person saying this to try and make the other person feel a type of way? So therefore they would play on something that was said to see who ends up reacting, that letting them know who really was the initiator or the victim in the situation. Smart tactic, but it's when in the time when it's being played on, and if you're in that room and it's happening with you, you're like, oh, motherfucker. But during the time, looking back at the time of when you were married, what body language do you recognize now?
I think, well, interestingly, from that spouse, not a lot. He was very stoic, and I'm more animated. I'm the baby of the family. Everyone, like my half sister was old enough to be my mother. My first cousins were old enough to be my mother. I was just the only kid.
I'm sorry, I was doing the math in my head. I was like, wait, your half sister was old enough to be your mother? What?
Yeah. I mean, not a kind of young mother. She was 18 when I was born.
I was thinking like anywhere between like 19, like 20 to around like 25-ish. So
yeah.
Close, not quite there, but close.
Yeah. And so for him, so it was actually interesting because his body language was harder to read. He was born and raised in India than my first love, who was born and raised in Japan, which is a culture known for being very understated, very polite, very formulaic in how you present yourself. But for my spouse, who would also, I think, count himself among I feel like an orphan whose parents happen to be alive. I mean, he spent a number of years not talking to them at all. And that had to do with, a lot of it had to do with pressure to get married, and that the parents wanted to be involved in the decision making. And he's like, no, not.
So he wasn't
that's not for
traditional.
Me. No, not traditional. And so I get animated, and what I realized, and I'm from Brooklyn.
You have a mouth on you. you tell it like it is. Oh, and you stated facts with it too from your back. Oh, God. I don't think he was ready for that. But go on, tell me more. Tell me more.
I'm animated. But also, I was just a playful kid, and I still have, the bouncy, playful. I have the hand gestures from New York, all that, and I studied music, so project your voice, and I have just all these elements. And I grew up around people who talk to themselves and talk to objects in the house, and that was like what he thought. What is going on? This was like too much stimulation. So even what I think is, say, a not over the top and just a, I guess, let's say a moderate type of body language, he would interpret it very differently and say even something ambiguous or slightly negative, like, oh, is this something to be concerned about? Crinkled brow or slight frown. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, uh-oh, and would kind of freeze, and that didn't make sense to me.
Okay, so all right, so it would be his facial expressions and his body language that would cause you to freeze?
Not necessarily. It was just hard to read.
Oh, okay.
It was very understated and subtle. And if I'm excited or enthused or happy, or I show it. And for him, it's like, it's not a stone face, but it's quite subtle. And if he's upset, that's hard to read because it's just kind of a wall comes down.
Oh, wow.
And is it just, are you thinking? Are you sitting still and thinking? Or is there chaos bubbling below the surface that's not coming through? And that's a little scary, at least for me, coming from a more animated family culture.
And that's my family as well. We're very animated. Like, it's interesting of everything you're speaking about because that sounds like my wife. She grew up in a household of attorneys, lawyers, and things like that. Her mom, my mother-in-law, she's very unreadable, and I don't personally be trying to read her. I'm just like, you do your thing, I do my thing. It is what it is. I'm gonna be me regardless, and I'm like, I don't do anything to hurt people or anything. But if I do anything that makes you uncomfortable, let me know, because I'm the type of individual to where I am who I am, and I have been who I am since I have been on this planet. Ever since I came out of where I came out of, you know. So for me, all I know is who I am. And with that, I'm 30. What year is this? 2025. I'm about to be 35 years old. So with that, if I'm doing something and it upsets you and you don't say anything about it, in my head, nothing is wrong. Because I'm not focusing on anybody else trying to see, oh, am I upsetting them? Am I making them feel a type of way? Now I'm not being mindful of me and having fun or focusing on what it is I need to be doing. I am worried more about everybody around me than myself, which can put me in a lot of danger as well because I'm not aware of my surroundings. I'm more hyper focused and hyper vigilant of the emotions and the hypotheticals of what it can be. But if you tell me at that time if I did something, then I can correct the behavior because now it's fresh in my mind. How was I feeling at that time? What did I do? Boom, locked in the amygdala. So if I do it again, I'm like, okay, last time I did this, somebody didn't like, all right, bet that's something I need to work on. But if nothing's ever said, I'll keep doing the same thing over and over, and eventually, how that if the person is someone who is a significant other or someone I'm around often, they may end up blowing up on me at some point and being like, well, I don't like it when you always do da 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 da. And it's like, what are you talking about? I mean, I don't remember really doing that because you're bringing it up years later down the line or something. But then I guess that's something I could have fixed that could have saved multiple relationships, friendships, or whatever from that point on when I first did it. Now, when it comes down to the body language, when it comes down to the tones, the pitch, and the way that people speak, I treat others the way that I want to be treated. And exactly how I just said, I do the same to other people. And I can tell right then and there how uncomfortable it makes them. And I feel that the reason behind that is how you stated earlier. You cannot speak to trauma. And so therefore, when you inform somebody of something that they are doing, if they are not open for change, then they're going to see you as the aggressor. They're going to see you as verbally attacking them. And now they feel justified at them lashing out at you.
Yes.
Have you ever dealt with that?
Yes, and that's kind of the sequel to my origin story with is the concern and conflict originated when my ex-spouse was traveling. And so we only had, and he was doing a trip in India and Nepal, and so we didn't have a whole lot of communication over those several weeks. And so on one of the few phone calls is when I brought up, I just wanted to check because I was kind of worried whatever the issue was. And he's like, oh, well, no, this is what it is. And so bye. Like, wait, and so I sent an email, which he probably didn't get for a few days, and that was hard. But I knew the situation was he might not see it for a few days. And I tried my utmost to say, like, I realize, it's ambiguous, or I just don't have a lot of the facts, but I'm wondering because here's how it felt. So just checking in, it would really help me if you could reassure me this way, or explain this, or just, check in with me. And exactly like you said, even though it wasn't direct body language, the fact that I think I was saying, well, your brief explanation wasn't good enough for me, was basically telling him, I don't believe you. You did something bad. Even though I was saying, like, I realize it's unclear, but it's still stressful.
Speaking with you, and this is another thing that I love about doing the show. It teaches me so much about myself, and also puts a lot of things into perspective of things in my past. I used to be upset with my ex-wife based off of some things that she would do, and I took it the way that she would ask me question after question after question would feel like an interrogation. And granted, I was in the military at that time, so it was just like I would give short, sweet answers. It's like, hey, I'm going out. Okay, where are you going? I'm going to the bar. Who are you going with? I'm going with such and such and such. Oh, okay. Who else is gonna be there? I don't know. I just know that they're gonna be there. And then I'm right there. You can tell the little aggravation. It's like, yo, why are you interrogating me? And then the next question would come. All right, can I come? Sure, if you want to. We're leaving at this time. All right, man. Is there gonna be any girls there? We're going to a bar. I imagine there is going to be some. Oh, okay. And now that's when it's just like, okay, cool. You've been cheated on in the past in previous relationships. Here comes the insecurities, which now I know this. Back then, did not so much. So when we get to the destination and the straight face is there looking like you really don't want to be there, and like it's so inconvenienced, and everybody feels like she's mad and everything, and I'm sitting here just like, why did you want to come out if you were going to be looking all stush the whole time? But I was not putting myself in her shoes, thinking the way that she was thinking, which made it very difficult for me to understand where she was coming from, which harbored a lot of emotions, harbored a lot of anger towards her, which, looking back on it now, I am guilty for a lot of things that have happened. And ultimately, I guess you could say I abandoned her in times of need, but I did not know she was in need because there was no communication expressing these things. But moving away from that, let's get on to happier things. So what exactly is it that you do that brings people closer together in relationships?
I help them look at the patterns that they've had, and also assess, like, where do they get their sense of safety and grounding from? Because a lot of us, we don't have much of it. And so we hope that the right relationship will then magically provide it. But if we don't have it to begin with, after the brief honeymoon period, even a good relationship, because you get close, you deal with conflict and differences and uncertainties, it's going to destabilize you further if that's the starting point for you, of not having, say, a way to ground yourself in safety. And what I learned in the research I did during the graduate program is that with advances in neuroscience, they're now realizing that it's not pre-assembled in us. We basically learn it from day one. So we have the basic equipment, but it's not all pre-assembled. And by that, I mean, from birth, it really matters how our primary caregivers treat us, how they respond to us. And so if we can feel safe enough, heard enough, attended to enough, nothing's perfect, we don't have to be perfect, but enough, then we have this felt representation of safety we can draw from. And that programs what we expect from others.
Yes.
As we say, the first day of school. I remember this was preschool, and I remember I asked my mom to, once she left me in the classroom, to look through the window and wave, like a second goodbye. But she started talking to another parent on the way to that window, and by the time she got to that window, I was in tears. I mean, I was 4 years old, but that was also a clue that I didn't always, despite their best intentions, because they didn't really have, neither of my parents really had that much really attuned parenting themselves. So my mother just didn't realize. It's like, what's one more minute? But for a 4-year-old, it's like, you said you were going to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And I can't count on you. and you forgot about me. And that wasn't really the case, but that's how it feels. And so I didn't really have that really built-in grounded sense of, I know I'm basically safe. I know I can rely on people for the most part. And I think a lot of us in our own ways are moving through the world and hoping that we find it somewhere, someday, with someone that will magically grow.
The magically grow. Magically. That is the part. That's the key right there. Magically.
Yeah.
We're all gonna grow, but we need to magically grow because it's not easy doing it with somebody else.
And a lot of love stories from books, movies, TV, songs kind of give us this impression that that's how it could be. And so I just start with, what are your beliefs? Let's just brain dump. What do you expect? What do you believe about love? Like positive and negative. And let's start there.
And a lot of individuals, from what I see right now in the dating, I don't even think they call it dating. They just say talking, and they be doing everything with no end goals in mind. I gotta figure out how to say this so I don't. You know what, Bumpin'? I'm just gonna be straight up with it. In this day and age, there's no end goals in what people are doing. They cannot. A lot of them don't want to put titles on anything to make it to where they can say that we aren't anything. So therefore, they don't have to face any repercussions on anything that they do. They don't want to deal with any consequences, so they make it to where there's nothing that can provide any type of consequence to what it is that they're doing. We're not dating. We're just talking. We're not in a relationship. You're not my boyfriend. You're not my girlfriend. Oh, okay. So you wanna do boyfriend things, but not have a title on it. Everything either has to be a title, or either it's nothing at all. So there is no end goal for whatever it is that they're doing. So ultimately, you wonder why so many hurt people are out here hurting other people, because they have no boundaries. They have no goal, or they have no idea of what the destination is of what. They have no idea of the outcome and the end goal of the process that they are doing right now. They just bumping and humping, and oh no, there's a baby. Oh no, he left me, or so on and so forth. There's no plans. Failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yeah.
What are some of the patterns that you see doing your coaching?
A major.
Oh, come on back. We lost her momentarily. She shall be back. But nah, that's something that I've noticed. There are a lot of individuals who are stuck in trauma. They are stuck in, how do I say this? They are stuck in insanity. They're doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result, while all they're doing is hurting themselves and hurting the people that are around them. And then they want to get upset at others because nothing is changing in their lives. And this is the reason why I asked her what are some of the patterns that she runs across. And what are some of those patterns?
A big pattern is really wanting to get to the end in the beginning, to have certainty on the outcome. And as a way to avoid the discomfort, the having to ask hard questions, the having to come face to face with, there are lots of things I really like about this person, but they're not my person. And I think now when that comes, years into a relationship, that's one thing. But when it comes weeks or a few months into a relationship, I think it's more about the loss that it symbolizes to people from their past that they still haven't grieved, because they don't really know this person after a few weeks or a few months. And
so then a lot of times they're running in the new relationship energy.
Oh, completely. And when we do that and we don't ask these deeper questions, it's often because we're hoping this person and then this person or that person will be able to fit into a mold that we're carrying in our minds. So it's not really a matter of getting to know them that well, because they just have to play a role. They need to audition, they get the part, we're all set. We know what's going to happen from now on until eternity, which of course is not true, but that's how we want to feel. And I think another pattern is not understanding that a lot of what we look for and value are really proxies for something deeper. So this preoccupation, I'm going to call out my sisters here, this preoccupation with height requirements. What does that really mean? I mean, I personally grew up preferring men who were closer to my height. And that's not so hard because I'm 5'7".
I just want to say real quick, we about to get backlash for that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that it's wrong, but I think if we deconstruct it and look at what it's a proxy for, then people are gonna like, oh, maybe they'll think about it a little differently. Because I came from the reverse, whereas I was more comfortable dating men who were closer to my height. And I'm 5'7", so the average 5'9" is close to my height. That's not hard to come by at all.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna be like, you're 4 foot something. I'm like, yo, were you really finding guys that small? I mean,
but I've dated people shorter than me, and but my fear was if they're like 6'4" or whatever, like they can have an easier time of like beating me up, and I don't want that.
5'0".
Yes, but that also didn't stop me from dating people taller than 5'9". It was just, I realized at some point that is a preference, and that's interesting. Let me think about that. But I wouldn't rule someone in or out just on that. But so when we have people who rule people in or out just on that one factor, what does height mean? A lot of people say, well, they just feel safer. They'll be able to protect me. It's like, let's do an audit of your life. Who have you felt safe and protected with? Now let's go and check their heights. How does it match up? What is that really, like, what is height standing in for?
Let's get down to the root of this. Where does this stem from?
Yeah. Or strongly preferring, or just ruling people in or out based on the job title or the how many zeros in their income or whatever it is. It's like, it's really not about that, I think. I think most of the time it's about something deeper.
I'm like, surface level, it sounds like security. It sounds like security. Okay, cool. You want to feel safe with it. Somebody taller than you makes you feel safer. Security. Someone where they make a certain amount makes you feel like, okay, cool. If tough times were to come, security. But getting down to the root of why you really truly feel like that, like you stated earlier, those are tough conversations that people don't want to have. Those are crucial conversations that people need to have. And those conversations need to be had in the beginning. Because, I mean, in all honesty, that right there will show you the way that an individual... Hold up, you said it. Here we go. That will show you their conflict styles. Then at the same time, it'll also show you how they regulate their emotions. Because, like we stated, hurt people hurt people. So if you are talking to somebody who is still holding on to that trauma, and you can't speak to that trauma, and now with it, they lash out at you, that shows you a great deal of, through the charade that they are putting on to try and win you over. So now you don't have to worry about spending so much of your time that you're never going to be able to get back in your life. You'll never be able to get back. And you have already walked through the flames instead of the pearly gates of heaven that you thought that you were walking through.
Yes.
Now, with it, as you were speaking earlier, it made me think about how individuals will be so in love with a new relationship energy. That's often the time where people will see a lot of red flags, but they focus more on what they think are the green flags or those yellow flags. So they take those red flags and overlook them, and then it bites them in the backside later on down the line. And people
Yeah.
were bringing it to their attention. Well, I knew that because I saw him doing this and this, or I saw her doing this and this and this a couple years ago, months ago, whatever. But yet, even if the person, if your friends or people were bringing it to your attention, you were kind of discarding them because you liked what you liked at that moment.
If you find someone who gives you that cocktail of hormones and neurotransmitters that just
Get the
keeps you
dopamine
high,
going.
all of it, endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, norepinephrine, like the excitement, the adrenaline, the fuzzy, warm, snuggly oxytocin, like all of it, then it's really hard to think straight because it's basically similar to a drug.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, a lot of people, when you hear addiction, they think of some type of substance, alcohol or uh, narcotics, marijuana. I guess that can fall into a drug. Not really ish, but I mean, in America, it's right. Are we talking federally or state level? But
Yeah.
people do not think about toxic relationships. You can be addicted to toxic relationships. The way that the person will give you those highs and those lows to where you need them to the fix. And that's I feel that's the reason why, because men be running back to toxic women too. Why people end up running back to individuals they know are not going to do them any good. Why guys will sit here and go get out of a relationship and then get in another relationship with a woman who treated them the same exact way that their ex did, or vice versa. A woman will get out of a toxic relationship. Matter of fact, I'll use a different example for a woman. A woman will sit there and get her backside beat, and then the man will say, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again, and she'll believe him and run back to him, and it happens again. Now with it, nobody would think that possibly that is a form of addiction. Like, yes, he gives you everything that you think that you want at one point, but then at the same time he puts you down in a low and then apologizes, and it's almost like you forget of everything that you just did. Kind of like when people overdose on heroin.
Yeah.
They might not, when they're feeding for that next hit, they're not thinking about how they almost died on the last one.
Right. Yeah, all of those brain chemicals short circuit our critical thinking and even our just compassion for ourselves. Whatever conscious processes that we need to do that, they're offline. And what you raised is also another really common pattern, which I call it the roller coaster or the slot machine version of love, which is 10-20% of the time you are adored, you are taken care of, you're paid attention to, and then the rest of the time, not at all. You're ignored, you're dismissed, you're dehumanized, you're mistreated, threatened, abused. And there's actually a really good book called Run Like Hell, it was written by the ex-spouse of the real Wolf of Wall Street. She became a psychologist because she said that was her experience in her first marriage when she was in her 20s. I can't remember her name, but the title is Run Like Hell, and she just published it in the last couple of years, I think. And it talks about how those intense ups and downs, all of the emotion and all of the hormones and neurotransmitters that triggers, does create kind of an addiction that makes basically chaos in our minds and our emotions. And that explains why people just can't, decide, this is not good for me. I'm going to now, leave this relationship and never look back. I'm done. Like, it's not that easy, because since we're wired, we're pack animals and wired to attach and bond, that anything that feels so good at some point, like we have a really hard time believing that it was never that good.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we're rolling towards the end, and these are the final two questions that I have for you. I always like to end a Speak Your Truth with these two questions. The first one's going to be, what do you want to say to any listeners?
Well, I want to say that I think we're done with dating as a performance. And I want to embrace the awkward, because what research shows is that, yes, on first glance, for like the first, 15 seconds, sure, appearances count for something and it might get you a second glance. But as soon as you start actually talking to the person, engaging with them, that perk goes away. And so if, say, even in all kinds of research, including like speed dating events, our initial impression of what someone looks like counts for a really teeny percentage of all of the reasons why we end up saying, no, I'd like to, see this person again. I'd like to see that person. And so if we just have the basics of, like, we've brushed our teeth, we choose clothes we're comfortable in, we feel good, then it's our energy and how we carry ourselves and how comfortable we make them feel. That is what makes the difference.
And then my last question is going to be gratitude and what you learned. Now, with it, gratitude, what you learned does not have to be what you learned on this episode, but what you learned today. And what are you grateful for?
Let's see. Yeah, there are a lot of things. Well, I'm so grateful for your elegant synthesis of ideas, coming from, I think, more of kind of the empathic, intuitive approach to this. Whereas you can take the person out of law school, but you can't take the law school out of the person. And I still default to, let's analyze the facts. Even though in a session, I do focus on feelings and grounding. And so I can switch, I can code switch, but if I'm just talking about my work.
Yes.
So I am so grateful to hear you restate things in such an elegant, intuitive way and synthesize things just so fluently. So that's something I really admire.
Respect. Thank you. And what have you learned today?
I have learned today, well, actually, okay, a little bit of research. I learned today that 2 studies. One is finding evidence that all of our brains, human brains all over the world, are all connected by a weak electromagnetic wavelength. And that when somebody makes, a lifestyle shift, it has a teeny impact on the brain function and patterns of people miles away.
Yep.
And also how our nervous system, like, especially for those of us who went through earlier life traumas, it is imprinted in our nervous systems. It's not that we can't change and heal, but it's a process. It's always a work in process, and that they can find actual, like, DNA markers or molecular changes.
Facts. I love that. One, for me, I am grateful that you were able to say the things that you said because it put into perspective that the way that religion, spirituality, and science, they all go together. They all say the same things, but use different terminology.
Yeah.
So
Different vehicles, different terminology.
yeah, I'm grateful at the fact that you stated that, and the what you learned today is the reason why I'm grateful, because what you learned today, they actually had noticed that in atoms as well. So you can have do something to this atom and another atom that copies that on can be on the other side of the galaxy, universe, whatever, will reciprocate that same exact thing that you did to this one atom. And I was like, yo, but even when it comes down to the spirituality sense and the way that people think, we all are connected. In spirituality, they like to say we all are source living in different realities and different bodies to all get a unique experience. Just like how in religion they say God is within us. If there's only one God, then that means that one God is within all of us, which means that we all are a portion of God, right? All living different, all living in our own realities, having different individual, what's the word? I don't want to say realities again, but having, I just had a brain fart. It comes and it goes. But looking for truth, transformation, and a little divine inspiration, then you're exactly where you need to be. Welcome to Divine Time, the podcast where real talk meets real growth. I'm your host, Donley Divine, bringing you raw conversations, spiritual insight, and soul shifting stories that light you up from the inside out. New episodes drop 4 times as strong. We don't say week over here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you never have to wait long for your next breakthrough. If you're feeling the vibe, follow the show. Like the content, share the energy, and subscribe so you never miss a divine moment. Tap the link, join the tribe, and help us spread the light one episode at a time. This is your time. This is Divine Time.